This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. California has detected the first U.S. case of COVID-19 involving the Omicron variant. Tom Howe reports officials said genomic sequencing detected Omicron in a person who returned November 22nd from South Africa and produced a positive test result for COVID-19 on Monday. The person, who was fully inoculated with the Moderna vaccine but had not received a booster shot, had mild symptoms of COVID-19 and was improving in self-quarantine. All close contacts of the person tested negative. President Biden will detail new rules as part of a wider strategy to combat Omicron and avoid a winter catastrophe. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said one key plank of the forthcoming plan is to require air travelers, regardless of vaccination status, to be tested within 24 hours of departure for the United States. Mississippi's ban on most abortions after 15 weeks is the battleground as the Supreme Court wades into one of the most persistent political battles in American life. During nearly 2 hours of oral arguments, Valerie Richardson and Stephen Dinan report the court's conservative-leaning justices showed unanimity in their skepticism of the viability standard, about 24 weeks into pregnancy, for when states can prevent a woman from seeking an abortion. Chief Justice John Roberts seemed to be searching for another standard to replace viability without overturning the fundamentals of Roe. Justice Brett Kavanaugh was the most forthright in testing what it would mean to erase Roe and return the issue entirely to the states. He challenged each attorney with the premise that the Constitution is neither pro-life nor pro-choice on the question of abortion, so that the court shouldn't be forced to be either. Justices Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor raised doubts about whether the landscape had changed since Roe and the 1992 Planned Parenthood v. Casey decision, which barred states from prohibiting abortions before fetal viability. Pro-life advocates argued that nearly 50 years of medical advances have swung the balance in their favor by improving survivability for premature infants. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get a special subscription offer. Democrats on Capitol Hill are flummoxed by the waves of smash-and-grab retail thefts in their states, with some denying it's happening and others saying they aren't ready to make major shoplifting a felony. Organized theft has slammed retailers including Apple, Nordstrom, and Home Depot in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, Minneapolis, and other cities, according to police reports. Kerry Pickett reports Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin says law enforcement should focus on the resellers of stolen goods, not the thieves on the front lines. He suggested pursuing people posting stolen merchandise on internet marketplaces. In Illinois, since the summer of 2020, organized retail theft has accounted for $45 billion in losses, according to WLS-TV in Chicago. And finally, according to a new poll, the U.S. military is losing its standard among the public after a chaotic end to an unsatisfying war in Afghanistan, politicization in the ranks, and growing public doubts that American forces can deal with the threats of a rising China. Mike Glenn reports only 45% of Americans have a great deal of confidence in the military, according to the poll by the conservative-leaning Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute. Even with confidence levels below 50% for the first time in decades, the military remains the most trusted national institution, ranking ahead of police and the medical community. Rank-and-file service members, specifically enlisted personnel, top the list of respondents with high confidence in the military. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.